Welcome to
Every Day is Macaroni.
I'm Joy Alford Brand.
And I'm Juliet Connell, and we're the hosts of Everyday Macaroni, the podcast.
This podcast is a look at the lighter side of life, where we talk about our adventures as a modern blended family.
So sit back, relax,
And prepare to have your funny bone tickled. Hello, listeners. We have an extra special treat for you today. But before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to give this video a like, share, and subscribe to our channel while you're at it. That helps us create more fun content for you, our one and only listener. And for those of you who are new here, these episodes are based on the recordings of the weekly dinners I have with my husband, Ron, his sister, Juliet, who is also a co-host of the podcast, and their 80-year-old parents, Al and Lita. Now, if you've been listening to our podcast for a while, you know that around here, we're just a big bunch of dog lovers. We love them all. And you'll also know that Juliet's little guy, our beloved Beimer, just crossed the Rainbow Bridge. We all loved him, and so we are going to honor his memory in this episode with a little tribute, Everyday Macaroni style. If you want to see some pictures of Bee while we're telling the following stories, check out the video version of this podcast episode on our YouTube channel. All you need to do is go to YouTube, search Everyday Macaroni, and our channel will pop up. So, without further ado, here are some of our favorite stories about Beimer, starting with a little discussion about fruit flies.
That sounds like you're squashing flies.
I
That
know.
damn gnat.
I know, but it's necessary
How do
because...
they know we have fruit in the house?
Oh, boy. Oh, my gosh, that's so funny. That's a funny story. That'll have to be a story for another time.
I guess, because honestly, I don't even remember how we got to it. But now, that's like a saying.
How do they know we have fruit in the house? All right, so...
No, I was going to say...
What's going on? What's new?
Well, Monday was Halloween, right? So that was good. I was scrambling around with dog pictures, trying to find a really good one. I could only find one of Darwin from last year. He was in that like onesie chaps sort of skeleton outfit, and the vet hospital that I take the dogs to, I don't know if they got together with a pharmacy or there was some sort of Wake Forest pharmacy or what it was, but they were like, oh yeah, we're looking for pet pictures and we're gonna vote on the cutest. So I was like, oh, okay. And I'm looking. I mean, I've got like 2 bazillion pictures.
Oh, yes.
You'd think that there would be, one of each of them.
Plenty.
No, I couldn't find a good one. The only one I could find was of Darwin and his little thing. So I sent that in. And of course, I liked it. I didn't go back to see if I won or not. I was kind of like, I don't know. I didn't hear anything. So it's not like I'm going to get like a year's worth of kibble or something for free. Or maybe vet bills or something.
Right.
I don't know. Free vet bills.
Well, wouldn't that be nice since, like my dad, your dog just had a cataract done?
Ah, yeah. It's funny how that, they converge.
Too bad we couldn't have had 2 for the price of 1.
I know. Well, you know what the funny thing is B is the one that really goes at it when your dad comes over.
I know. I'm telling you, dogs know. He and my dad, for some reason, Beimer's like, rah, 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 rah.
I know.
It's crazy.
Well, and poor B, he's doing really well. Every time we take him to the eye place, they're saying that he's recovering, amazing and whatnot. But
Which we're so glad.
Yeah, I'm totally glad.
'Cause
I'm
I
not
love
glad
B.
of the price tag.
He's my favorite dog. He is. And there's a lot of dogs to pick from.
Well, there is.
Yes, there's a lot of dogs to pick from, but Beimer is my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an old guy.
Oh, he's old. He's 12.
He's 12 in like 4 months.
Don't you have any pictures of Beimer and his bat wings? Because he has a little...
Yeah, I think I do. I probably do, and I haven't looked hard enough. But I think B and his bat wings, that's like a surefire. That's the one I like. Because it's very subtle. And when he's walking around, people don't necessarily see them right away. And
right,
then
because he's black.
Right, he's black and white. So his whole back is black. And then he's got these very...
black!
Then he's got those felt little bat wings, and you barely see them until he starts to move around, and then it almost looks like it's real.
Right.
You're like, what is that?
Oh, he's so cute. And he's a little Boston.
He's bossy.
Very cute.
I was going to say, he's bossy? Oh, yeah,
well,
that too.
No, not so much anymore. I mean, as he's gotten older, he's been a lot less angsty.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we put him through the ringer,
right?
Buying the last 2 dogs,
right? Except for when he had other very, very young dogs in the house, and then he was like the tortured old man, right? Mm-hmm. Like the grumpy old man.
I know. I feel like now he's trying to get us back, so he goes and teaches these other young dogs stupid tricks. Like, he's really smart. He can speak English. Well, no, I can't say he speaks it. He totally understands it. He knows how to spell. He can tell time. What else? There's something else. I can't remember.
He speaks English.
Yeah.
He speaks Spanish?
He speaks Spanish.
He speaks Spanglish. I mean, you call him all those weird things that your mom calls her dog.
Yeah.
Like Pukina and all that.
Pukina, Chuchina.
All that. Mm-hmm. Well, listener, does that sound familiar? It should. You know who else thinks their dog is bilingual and super smart?
Does he speak Spanish?
He knows the 2 languages. That goes together. Bing, 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 bing.
He's bilingual.
Bilingual boy.
That's right. Lita thinks her dog could practically read Don Quixote in English and the original Spanish, and all those weird little Spanglish pet names they call their dogs.
Oh, my goodness.
Like mother, like daughter. I'm just saying. Yep, the nut doesn't fall far from the tree on that score, if you catch my drift. Wink, wink. And if any of you have listened to some of our other episodes, you know. Mm-hmm. And also, I actually did a little YouTube video, Doggy Treat, where your mother was talking to her dog, Santini.
Oh, I see.
And I kind of took a little clandestine video of her, and she just loves that dog, and she explained how the dog understands Spanish and yada yada. And so your dog is pretty similar in that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can tell time. I mean, he's usually off. I mean, sometimes he's right on. Somewhere between, like right on and 5 minutes. As soon as it hits 8 o'clock, he knows that's the time I go outside. I'm like, we could be watching a movie.
At night?
Yeah, and he scratches. He just like takes his paw and he's like on the sofa. It's like, I'm like, okay, just give me a second. They just got back together again. I want to finish watching this.
They just got back together.
And then he like jumps on you and then he scratches your leg. I'm like, what? Put it on pause and then run outside. You better hurry up. I need to see if they make it or not.
Poor dog. That poor dog. Actually, poor dog nothing. That dog won the dog lottery. That dog and your mother's dog.
I know. Mm-hmm. I know. And then we decided, okay, we're not going to speak anymore because he knows the word out, right? So we're like, hey, did he go O-U-T yet? Or did he E-A-T yet? And Ken's like, yeah. Nope, because he's right back. He goes right in front of that pantry. As if, he's playing games. Hey, you hungry? Dad, Ken must not have fed him. Okay, so I go and feed him. And then Ken's like, hey, just so you know, I fed him about a half hour ago. Mm-hmm. What? He tricked me.
And you got shanked.
I know.
Yeah, he got a double dose.
And now he has learned how to knock on the door. So he used to be outside, and unfortunately, I get really busy. ADD kicks in, and I put him out, and then I forget I had him out. So he would sit there on the porch, freezing and shaking
because he has no fur.
Right. So now, when I put him out, usually the garage door is open. So now he knows, oh no, I'm not going over to the little deck over there. I'm going back in the garage. Mm-hmm. So he goes through the garage, and then he sits on the landing that we have in the garage right by the back door. And then you hear, and he hits the metal garage door that we have, and then his little nails, and then it hits, because it's like a 6, I don't know what you call it.
Square or whatever.
6 squares on the, so he hits one of the moldings, and it's like, and then, and you hear that, and you're like, what is that? At first, we didn't know what it was. No, it's him knocking on the door. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. He knocks on the door now when he wants to come in, because I forget him all there. Always. So now I would let him in, and this was great. I'm so happy. Here's a treat. He gets his carrot because the dogs only get carrots for treats.
That's the treat. Yeah.
So now the other day, Ken was out in the garage, and then I go out there, and I'm talking to him from the landing, and all of a sudden I hear clunk, clunk. No, it's now that he's on the inside and he wants to come out. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm here."
Hey, I actually know somebody who has a dog that can ring a bell. So there's a bell at dog height by the door, and the dog, when the dog wants to go out, the dog will go up to the bell and ring the bell.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Ken's aunt had that, something like that too, on the back door. Yeah.
He's a smart dog.
Yeah, he is. He's smart.
Now,
he's a pain in the neck, but he's smart.
Do I remember correctly, did you not share a cocktail with your dog recently?
What?
Don't you remember?
Oh. Yeah. Yes, my dog's an alcoholic. I forgot all about that. Yeah. So for years, right, on Saturdays, I get up, make myself a cup of coffee. It has creamer in it, you know.
Let's be clear. You're not having a cocktail on Saturday morning.
No. So this all started because now I know my dog has a taste for coffee. He's a coffee addict. Anytime I make a cup of coffee and I sit on the couch, there's an end table there. So I put my coffee on the couch, and it's a nice full octane kind of cup of coffee, and it's got peppermint mocha because I search all year long so I can get my peppermint mocha all year long. And so it's made. I put it on the nightstand, and inevitably I'm drinking my coffee, I'm doing my emails in the morning, or it's Saturday and we're watching something nice and early, and I get up to do whatever, and the dog sees the mug right there, and I like big mugs, which is the perfect size for my dog's face to go in.
Because he's a Boston, so he's got like a flat face, right?
So he's got a chunk, a little brachiocephalic. But anyway, so I go out, I don't know what I'm doing, bathroom, outside, I had to do something. I come back, and then he sticks his head up from the mug, like he's like, huh? And he looks at you like, wait, what? Wait, I thought you were upstairs. Or I thought you were in the bathroom.
Oh, caught
I thought
in the
you were
act.
out on the deck. But if you're really quiet and you know that this is going to happen, you can catch him in the act. He's like, that's all you hear. And you're like, what is that? And you come around, and sure enough,
there
he's got his entire face in my red mug, drinking it,
having his morning coffee,
his nice peppermint latte.
Ugh.
That's what he's drinking, and he will drink it and drink it. And even if I'm done with the coffee and I put it down, and there's a tiny bit on the bottom, I know he's been there, because usually he'll drink it until his tongue hits the end of it, and then I see a little tongue print at the bottom.
Come on.
Oh yeah, it's gross. And I have thought of, I wonder how many times he's done that.
And you've gone back
I
behind him.
got back, and he left, and I kept drinking that coffee because I'm like, I know I've caught you several times, but I'm not confident enough to
I'm getting a cramp.
that I've caught him every time. So now I know he's got a taste for the coffee. And I like coffee. I like the taste of coffee. Scary that I don't like tiramisu. Sorry.
You don't like tiramisu?
No, I don't like tiramisu.
Juliet, you who loves all desserts and cakes?
And who loves coffee. You would think that would be my perfect dessert, right?
What in the world?
No, do not like it.
Wow, listener, no. I'm scandalized.
It's kind of like mushy. I don't know. Maybe I've gone to the wrong places, but by the time I get it and I eat it, the bottom is a little mushy, and I don't like that kind of stuff. Unless you're making me, the café con galletas, I don't like mushy anything.
A big bowl of mush. Yeah. Oh, boy. And coffee. Attention, listener. If you're wondering what in the world Café con Galletas are, you can listen to our November 1st, 2022 episode, Juliet Travels with Her Mother, to learn all about this family delicacy. We now return to our podcast episode that's already in progress.
So,
Breakfast of Champions.
one night I got those glasses that you got me with the little bats. So I'm obsessed when I'm doing Halloween decorations that I like bats. So I like those vinyl, what are the
Stick-ons,
decals,
yeah.
right? Decal stick-ons that you put on the wall. And I bought these bats over at Target like 10 years ago?
Yeah, a long time ago. Mm-hmm.
Right?
They've
And
lasted for a long
I'm still
time.
using them. This year, sadly, I think is their last year. They're waving too much. Their little flaps are now like off the wind or off the walls.
Yeah, they're coming off. They've lost their stickum.
Yeah, but I love those. And you got me those bats. They're a nice glass from Crate and Barrel, and they've got these little glass bats all over them.
Stuck in the glass, yeah.
Right. So I thought,
Oh, we love Crate and Barrel. Shout out to Crate and Barrel.
yeah, totally. So I was like, oh, you know what? We're not big drinkers, and our liquor cabinet is actually the cabinet.
Like one bottle.
Right. And it's the cabinet that's up above the refrigerator, right? So it's really hard to get to anyway. But I had some Kahlua up there, and I was like, oh, I know. It's at night. I don't want the caffeine. So let me make myself a White Russian. Lord knows I'm definitely not a bartender. So all I could think of is, okay, so I think there's some Kahlua. Okay, that looks about right. And I think there's some vodka in there too. Hey, do we have any vodka in there? Yes. It's like this little teeny bit of Absolute or something.
I'm having a Big Lebowski moment right here. Just oh yeah, almost.
And then I'm like, I wonder if it's like a third of the Kahlua and a third of the glug, 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 glug. Right? I'm not measuring any of it. I'm just like, oh yeah, that looks about right. Now this glass that looks like it's not a shot glass. Well, what are those glasses? They're like
they're not highballs. They're
but they're as big as a highball glass, right?
Well, I think yeah, basically.
Right? It's like those stout kind of glasses.
Yeah.
So now
It's a rocks glass, isn't it? I don't know, whatever. Okay.
half of it is liquor. Whether
Wow.
it's I know, right?
And there's
Whether it's
Juliet
Kahlua,
looking for her bowling ball in her bathrobe.
there's Kahlua, and then there's vodka in there, and I'm like, oh yeah. And now you got to put, usually
Half
you
and
use
half.
half and half, right? Well,
That's
I don't
what
have.
the dude would use.
I don't
but
have
not
half
Juliet.
and half. Who has half and half
The
at their house
dude.
all the time, right? No,
The Big Lebowski.
all I have in the house is 2%.
2% milk.
That's it. That's all I
This is
got.
like Laverne and Shirley's
So I'm
version
like-
of a White Russian.
I know. So I'm like, well, it's 2% and it's not half and half. So that means I've got to put in extra.
Ooh, like milk
Right?
and Pepsi. Oh.
So I take the milk and I put as much milk as I possibly can. Now it's to the rim of the glass, and I'm looking at it going, okay, that looks like it's about the right color,
Aw.
because you got to get it light. It's like a light tan, like a latte color, right? Or at least that's what I think, anyway. So I'm like, oh wow, and then of course I'm making the walk to the sofa. with
Very
this thing.
carefully.
Very carefully. I'm walking to the sofa. And every once in a while I have to stop because, it's like sloshing around in there. Like, okay. So I make it. Where do I sit? In my normal spot. Right there next to the nightstand. So
You mean
or the
end table.
Right, the end table. So so I go and I put it there and I get distracted. Surprise, surprise, right? I'm distracted again because I'm always distracted about something. So I take a couple swigs. I'm like, that's not bad. Okay. But now I've got, it's like, gosh, that's probably about 6 or 7 inches, right? High. So, of course, I take like 2 or 3 sips and I'm
No, not 6 or 7 inches. No. It's like maybe 3.5.
no.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's bigger than that.
No, it's not.
The glass?
It's not 6 or 7 inches.
Oh, it's big.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
bigger.
it's big, but it's not that big.
So I take a couple of
People are
swigs,
going to think
right?
we're drunks.
I know. Well, it's not like a Long Island iced tea. They put them in those big long ones, but Anyway, so I take a couple of sips, needless to say, and I'm like, woo, okay, maybe the ratio was wrong.
I need more 2% milk.
I know, where's that milk? So I leave it on the end table, and I continue doing what I'm doing. And then, of course, I get distracted again, and I got to get up and do something else, right? Because I'm bored of whatever I'm watching or reading or doing, and I got to stop. So I'm in the kitchen, and I'm doing something, and then I forget completely what I was doing, and then I'm upstairs doing laundry or something. I come back downstairs, and as I'm coming down the stairs, I hear... I'm like, what in the world is that? Right? Like, I haven't heard that like 900 times that I have to ask myself, what is that sound? Right? And I come around the corner really fast, and B had now pulled out his head, and his eyeballs are two humongous white bulging saucers. He drank like a third
Wow.
of that drink. And I was like, oh my God.
I killed my dog.
Alcohol abuse.
Not I killed my dog. Alcohol abuse.
I know, right? I was like, I cannot believe he's drinking that. And then Ken comes in and he's like, what happened? I'm like, he just drank a really strong White Russian.
We gotta get our dog into AA.
Oh my God. And he's like, ooh, licking his lips and everything. I was just like, oh my gosh. So of course now we're watching him. I'm like, oh, is he gonna be okay? He's passed out. He is out for the count. And luckily it was at night, so his little limp body I could take back upstairs. But I was like, serves you right. You're gonna have a hangover. It's like, I cannot believe that. Oh,
Now,
you lush.
Here's the question. Did you finish the rest of the drink?
No. I wanted to really badly, but no.
You dumped it out?
Yeah,
So-
dog backwash. I don't know if that's any of the ingredients that I wanted in my drink.
And you don't know what that dog's eating when it goes outside. There's a lot of deer
Well,
around here, you know.
There's a lot of deer, yes. Deer duds. That's what my vet calls
Oh,
them.
come on. Buh. Nasty. And on top of that, is this before or after you gave him his daily dose of CBD oil? I'm just saying.
Well, I don't give it to him daily anymore. That was something that we had to do. We started on
Drugs
that.
and alcohol. You're feeding that dog drugs, alcohol, and caffeine. You're giving him the 3 deadly vices.
Yeah.
Drugs, alcohol, and caffeine, Juliet.
I know.
That dog's going to need to go into rehab.
To rehab. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's why he's so cranky sometimes.
He is a little cranky. I think the reason he's cranky is because he's been tortured by the other 2 dogs, frankly.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, listener. Poor thing. We got 2 other dogs when Beimer was 10 years old. So he was 10 years old. He's always been a loner. We've never had a cat or another dog.
He's been the king of the castle.
And
No cats.
when he was 10, our oldest daughter, Erin, got Darwin. A cute little guy. We picked
Another
him out when he
Boston.
was like a week old. He was cute. And then we finally brought him home 8 weeks later or whatever. And he was your typical Boston. He's got the little Napoleon syndrome. Even as a little puppy, they're like, rah, 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 like they're king of the castle. And B was like, oh no, you don't. You know?
Hell no.
We thought he was going to eat him.
Yeah.
But he was actually really good with that one. And then slowly he taught him every bad trick he knows. So Darwin was a little bit of a turd. But he's now getting better, and he's hit 2 years old. And that's kind of like when I see Bostons all of a sudden like get into line. They don't lose their jestery kind of comedic sort of personality, but they do get better.
Yeah.
You know? But then
Dun, dun, dun.
one wasn't enough.
No.
So out comes Caitlin saying she wants a dog too, except she doesn't take the route of puppy because he's
Or Boston.
which was a surprise, right? But she saw everything Erin had to go through with a puppy, because puppies are definitely not a dream. They're like babies.
Yeah,
waking
they're like
up in the
kids.
middle of the night. You got to put them in a cage. You got to do this.
Well, wait, you don't put babies in a cage. Yeah.
No, you'd like to, but no, you don't.
No, you don't put babies in a cage.
Oh my goodness! No, babies don't go in cages until they're like 5 or 6, and they start talking back. Then you wish they'd go in one. You're like,
Listener, we would never put a baby in a cage or a senior citizen on a leash. We would never do it. We would not.
In our heads, we'd be hoping to do it, but no, we would never do
not.
that. But yeah, so then came Ladybug, who is the sweetest.
She is a sweet dog. Yeah.
Retriever slash Boykin.
Yeah. Spaniel. No.
Spaniel.
Is it a spaniel? No.
Yes, it's a Boykin Spaniel.
Spaniel? Yeah.
Boykin Spaniel. What is it? Golden Retriever.
Yeah, Golden Retriever mix.
So she's like red and not as big as a Retriever. But anyway, she's like goofy, you know? She's got these big long legs she doesn't know what to do with, and she's constantly looking because she's nervous. And she was a rescue, so we got her just as she turned a year old, and B was not having it.
Oh, no.
He was done.
Well, first of all, she's much bigger than he is.
Oh, yeah.
Taller, bigger.
Yep. So this is the largest dog he's ever been around, because Darwin came as like an 8-week-old dog, and there were some reservations about putting those two together, but you know, surprisingly, it went well. But Ladybug,
That's because of the CBD.
Yeah. Well, no, I never gave it to him with the other one. But when Ladybug came, Beimer was like out to get her. We would walk with her on the street, right? And we'd have all 3 dogs on a leash thinking, oh yeah, okay, they're going to get used to each other. Nope. All Beimer wanted to do was bite her tail. I mean, it was like, okay, one of these dogs just can't be with us on this walk. So B, I had to put him on CBD just to calm him down, because every time she would walk by him, he was like, attack. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't have dogs that don't, you know what I mean? Like how you see it on TV where this dog is penned up in my dining room. This dog is penned up in the kitchen because he pees all the time. This dog is over there because he can't, whatever. I'm like, no. I got to have some sort of organization at the house. Mm-hmm. So all 3 dogs had to conform or live in the garage.
It's a real military state in there.
Yeah. So
you can't have a free spirit in that house if you're a dog. No.
I crush you.
Yeah, you're going to crush you. Mm-hmm.
Well, I crush you and then give you CBD.
Well, specialized CBD oil just for dogs, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
whatever. CBD, CBD, White Russian, whatever. Whatever sedative I can get.
No, the White Russian was after the other dogs were out, basically.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was relatively a new thing. But yeah, he responded really well to the CBD. So I gave him that. And he was asleep all the time. He was stoned all the time until Ladybug could kind of walk around him and he wasn't on the attack. He was on there. He was on that for like, I don't know, 4 months on and off.
Yeah, but then
something like that.
Then the tables turned and it became a real love fest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know that?
Well, the thing is,
that commercial Red Bull gives you wings where the little critter's trying to climb on the elephant or whatever. Yeah. That. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Beimer started trying to be the ladies' man.
No. Oh, yeah. You're making it out to be something that
because that's
not.
what it looks like, Juliet.
He
was trying to climb up on top of her.
But he's tiny. But Ladybug she's like a nervous wreck, right? So when she gets that way, I'm like, cut it out. Stop. Ladybug, sit. And as soon as Radar, oh God, that was an old dog. As soon as Beimer hears me kind of like, stop, sit, he starts like, oh, it's getting too crazy in here. Because she gets crazy and starts walking around. He jumps on her neck, and it looks like he's trying to hold her.
No, but then that's not what's happening.
Then she starts walking away, and then he's grabbing her by her hips. And I'm like,
that is not what's happening. Boy. You are trying to put a spin on this because you don't want your dog to appear to be a drunken lech. And the truth is, that dog is trying to climb up on top of her.
Yes, that is a dominance thing. It's not what you're thinking. No,
That's sure what it looks like.
He is not sassy walking.
Yes, he is. I have
No.
seen him do it.
No, that's not what it is.
Listener, I'm telling you.
He's been neutered. I'm just saying.
That doesn't matter. They
Whatever.
don't lose the urge.
Whatever. That's not an urge.
He's. It looks like an urge to me. But either way, she's not having any of it.
I
All
know.
she has to do is,
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, and,
She's so
and
much bigger than he is.
The funny thing is that none of them like attack each other, which is so great. They all
Yeah, because now it's a big love fest.
yeah, I guess it is.
Well, I don't know. Darwin and Ladybug, they're like siblings, so they back and forth
yeah,
with
those
each
two,
other.
and they play rough and whatnot. B is the one that every once in a while he gets this burst of energy and wants to play and brings some sort of treat in front of their faces.
B sexually harasses Ladybug on a regular basis. Yes, he does. He sexually harasses that dog. The poor thing. I feel bad for her.
Whatever.
But she can't take care of herself.
You would call it that, you
But that-
lawyer.
That's what it is. I know what I'm talking about. I see. That dog has got some issues.
Yes.
But I do like B. He is my favorite dog. Yeah, you know that dog was out in the yard eating deer poo and then washing it down with Juliet's morning coffee. Who knows how long he was doing that? God bless him. Ah, yep, there's nothing like sharing your first cup of joe with your deer poo eating fur baby. Doggy backwash. Delicious. Seriously, if you have a dog that you love, go take it for a walk or a game of fetch and give it a treat, like a carrot or a sip of coffee or even its favorite cocktail. We hear White Russians are popular with Boston Terriers. I'm just saying. Yep, we are so lucky to have these four-legged friends in our lives, so enjoy them for the pure doggy delights they are, because after all, there's nothing like a dog to put a smile on your face. Am I right? You know I am. This episode is dedicated to the memory of Beimer Love, a Boston Terrier beyond compare. This has been a public service announcement from the International Labradors Union reminding you that dogs need coffee breaks too. I hope you enjoyed listening and sharing a laugh or two with us. Stay tuned for more everyday macaroni adventures on future podcast episodes. And if you want to see some pictures of us, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching @everydaymacaroni or #everydaymacaroni. And now you can also watch us on YouTube. Just search Everyday Macaroni and our new channel will pop up. If you want to shop for some fun macaroni merch, head over to everydaymacaroni.com. Don't forget, if you have a blended family story to share, email us at info@everydaymacaroni.com and put the word share in the subject line. You can also call us on our Macaroni Fun Phone at 919-729-2043. Your story might end up on a future episode, and how fun would that be? Super fun. Finally, don't forget to give us a good review and download your favorite episodes. A share would be nice too. The more interaction we get for the podcast, the more episodes we can post. Again, thanks for listening, and join us for the next episode of
Every day.